G'day mate, and welcome to Factory Town with me, JD, and the first thing I'm going to do is going to turn down the music volume a little bit more, because I've actually had a couple of people comment that sometimes the music was too loud, even though it's at 10%, which is pretty low. So, where are we up to? I went and bought another plot of land, thinking, okay, I am just going to set up a simple automated make sandwiches, which is bread, cheese, cooked chicken, 3 seconds sandwich. Does it tell me in there? Sandwich is worth 30 coins, because I was also commented that I'm going to need lots more yellow coins. As you can see, we've got 42,000. So this has been running in, I'll put it as an experimental stage for quite some time. It's actually been running not perfectly, but it is running and has been running for some time doing some stuff. Okay, so let's go through the process. We have farms, and I've had lots of people point out to me that I made lots of mistakes with the farms. I realise that now. I realised that a couple of episodes ago. But if I haven't made it clear now, I've definitely realised that. The way farms used to work is their grain output was decided by how many tiles they had around them. And you could actually build fertilised tiles on platforms, and you can actually squeeze like something ridiculous around a farm and get a lot of production out of it. So now it's time to, as long as they have grain somewhere inside their field, which in this guy, right, in this guy's case, he's got 14 farming tiles or 14 grain tiles he can access, he'll be able to put out grain. These will go down over time. As they go down, they'll turn into a crop growing, and then that's filled back up according to how much water and how much fertilizer. I'm giving mine water because I can, and with this setup, it's actually quite effective to have some water here in the middle where they can all access, and I've been really happy with experimenting for this setup. I'm not delivering any fertilizer, can't be bothered. Which may lead to a block up somewhere along the line, but we'll worry about that when we worry about that. So that's my process for getting grain out. Now, grain is every 1.5 seconds. To make a sandwich, you need bread, you need cheese, you need cooked chicken, and it takes 3 seconds. So 1.5 seconds for grain. In a grain mill, we need 3 grain every 4 seconds to make 1 flour. So you can see it here. I've got this guy feeding in directly. I've got this guy feeding in directly. And I have this guy feeding over here directly. And this guy is splitting between all 3 of them. It's technically, I think, a little bit of overproduction. Considering this guy's backed up, I'd definitely say so. Why is that guy backed up? Maybe faster belts are required. Build parts. Metal conveyor belt. Because why not? Maybe just it's the fact that it's going through bends. Maybe if it was built in a straight line. Let's try that. Because I've no. I've found. Again, you guys in the comments, you guys are doing way better at this game than me. In my defense, I'd probably say on pure playtime, I'm doing fine. Because there's been very little I've done off screen. Just about everything you guys have seen has been live, so to speak. Logic box, grabber. Okay, so now that's taken that lot down. So we're going to go to 4, we're going to remove these. We're going to go 5, we're going to remove these. No, you're not running at full speed. Okay, one problem at a time. So, these guys are putting out a grain every 1.5 seconds. Running that into there, that into there, and that into there seems to be about the right ratio. With this one feeding all 3 of them. They're all slightly slightly have too much production. Actually, one thing we might do is we might upgrade those 2, because that actually goes through a splitter. So That gives us flour, okay? And flour is 3 grain every 4 seconds gives us 1 flour. To make a sandwich, we actually need 2 flour every 4 seconds. So that's 1 flour, that's 2 flour, with some fire, which we've just got a forester over here just chopping down these trees, which should automatically get replanted. I don't know, he hasn't actually chopped down any enough, because this is a natural forest, to give us some fuel to make bread to go into the kitchen. As you can see, I'm having some problems because not everything is fully worked out yet, which is what we're going to work on this episode. So, step 1, get bread. Done. Step 2, to go with our bread, we need cooked chicken. So we're going to skip this one. Yep. This one and this one are doing chicken. Okay. Chicken, raw chicken takes 2 animal feed, 5 seconds, and gives us 1 raw chicken and also a fertilizer. That goes into a kitchen, which also takes 5 seconds. It needs 1 raw chicken, 1 piece of fuel, fertilizer counts as fuel, and 5 seconds to craft. So what I've actually got is I've got this guy outputting nowhere. I'm using the grabbers to force the output, and we've got a chicken going this way, and we've got a fertilizer going this way. It does seem to back up, and I'm not sure why, because everything should be in ratio. And if it's not, honestly, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add an overflow to it. I'm going to say, hey, if you've got too much of one material, we're just going to dump the other material straight off into a master chute that comes over to our food market, because they'll eat raw chicken. They'll eat, if we've got too much bread, they'll eat the bread. If they've got too much flour, they'll eat the flour. All the byproducts we're making here, they'll eat. They don't care. So we've got 2 of these, 2 pastures making chicken, going straight into our kitchen, which then feeds the cooked chicken up here on another conveyor belt around the world, because I couldn't build anything on a straight line, obviously. Over here to our kitchen, which gives us our chicken. And our chicken, we need 1 chicken every 3 seconds. We're actually producing 2 every 5 seconds. So again, we've got a little bit, actually a lot of overproduction. A little bit of overproduction. And as I said, the easy sense of that is we're just going to have an overflow belt, and we'll just take everything from the overflow belt, feed it onto this express belt all the way into our food market, and everybody can just eat it and be happy people. So, we've got that and that. We've then got this grain mill and this grain mill outputting into this pasture. So this pasture is making milk, and he's making, okay, so grain mill, again, 2 grain every 2 seconds, and this guy is putting in 1 every 1.5 seconds, with a little bit from this guy, which should give us 2, yeah, which should give us the 2 every 2 seconds that we need to give us an animal feed. The animal feed comes in here, which is 2 animal feed, so 1 from this building and 1 from this building. This is hooked up to its own set of quad farms. So 2 animal feed every 2 seconds gives us 1 milk and 1 fertilizer. The fertilizer, honestly, I don't think we're doing anything with. I don't know. Actually, I think it's accidentally being fed into that kitchen, which would probably explain why things are backing up. I don't know where that fertilizer goes. In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't go anywhere because I didn't set up anything. So that's maybe a problem to come back to later. So we've got our kitchen, and that'll give us 1 milk every 2 seconds. Over here, we actually need 3 milk every 10 seconds. So we've got overkill right there to give us 1 cheese. We also need 1 cloth. So if we come over here to this workshop, he needs 2 cotton every 4 seconds. We've got 1 farmer producing 1 cotton every 2 seconds. So again, perfect ratio from 1 farm to 1 workshop to make cloth, to then come over here and be fed into the kitchen. Our issue is we just do not have enough ways to process milk and cloth into cheese, because we actually need 1 cheese every 3 seconds. So we need 4 of these guys running. You need 3 milk. So in 6 seconds we'll make 1 milk, and we actually need that every 10 seconds. So we can produce not quite 2 out of this one guy. So we need a second kitchen somewhere in this mayhem. And that's honestly been what's happened. I've started off with plenty of clear area, and as you can see, I've already built myself into a corner. Like, all the conveyors are in the sky, so we just don't have to deal with stuff on the floor. But already there's just not enough room. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create an overflow. And that's what I actually wanted you guys here for, to sort of try and work out, not trying to get things perfectly ratio, because I had people in the comments, and I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate that you guys are trying to help out, trying to give me perfect ratios by running buildings at a not 100% speed. So this one's short. So at the moment we're running 190% speed. That's 90% from our happiness rating, and 100% from 1 worker. As you can see, everything's running 190% speed. If I had a second worker, I get a 25% boost in the speed of the production of that building, but it now costs me 2 workers. I could have had a whole separate building and be running at 200% the speed by just building a second building. So in the long-term scale, it's better to have more buildings rather than just throwing people at the problem, because each extra work is only worth 25% extra production, whereas having 4 extra buildings is 500% productivity compared to 200% productivity, because you've got to subtract the 90% they get from happiness. Okay, so we're going to have an overflow chute right here, starting with bread. So we want to turn this belt this way. We want to go to our logic blocks, and we want to say a pusher there. So it's going to get pushed into there if there's room for it. And then we want a 5. I want to ramp that up, because I want to get up to this higher height as fast as possible. Actually, let's just bring it straight in there. So we're going to bring our belt. So this will be excess bread. Can go in there. And before somebody tells me, I do know there is another recipe for bread, which requires 1 flour and 1 potato. And honestly, had I seen that beforehand, I probably would have chosen that recipe, because that just looks so much easier. So we're going to take our excess bread, and it's only the excess. This will still get first fed. But anything's excess, we're going to fire it off that way, because it just gets rid of it. We're going to do the same with our chicken now. We're going to bring this along. Actually, perfect time. Again, somebody else commented, a wood arch probably won't work actually in this circumstance, because I'd still cut off the belt. But I can use a wood arch where clearances are tight. And it's something I just forgot about. Okay, so then we're going to use a logic block. No, we're going to put our belt to run that way. And then we're going to use a logic block to put a pusher in there. So it'll push it that way even though the belt goes the other way. And again, we're just going to take the excess chicken and shove it off this way. And hopefully that'll give us some room. The other thing I want to do is probably pass metal conveyor belt. We're just going to speed this belt up, because we definitely have the resources. That's not really an issue. Okay, more food into the food market. I've also had to extend the housing quite a bit to get all the extra population to run this madness. Okay, so now I have... We're producing milk too fast, but I need a second kitchen. So we're going to go into tools, remove resources, just clear ourselves a bit more room. How to get stuff out of that pasture. And are you broken? No, you seem to be running fine. Yeah, I've got no idea where this guy's fertilizer goes. It's working. I'm not going to question it. Okay. Building, terrain flattened down. Okay, so we want to build another kitchen. You are also going to make cheese. Okay, so if I bring the milk out below, we're going to do something at ground level for a change. And then put in a logic block, a grabber here. I'm going to set you to filter milk only. I have no idea why you have cheese on there, but sure. Okay, so we've got our milk. Now we need our cloth, which is just a case of build this up and around. And what do we want? Okay, so we want to build this. Now, I do want to say, okay, as far as games go, and ratios, and just the whole logistical challenge, I honestly have to say that compared to Satisfactory, and I am on tier 6 just now, I have a feeling that the ratios and the complexity... Where the hell are you getting cheese from? I'm gonna sit here and watch. I can't... Yeah, so you just got another piece of cheese. Is the grabber moving materials out and onto a lower belt? Is that my issue? Okay. Confirm that just milk's coming out of this. Just milk is coming out, although fertilizer has stopped running. Delete. Yeah, there's cheese getting on that belt somehow. Delete that. Move. Can I clear the belt underneath? No. More cheese. More cheese. That's actually a lot of cheese. Oh! Because your output's facing that way. Duh. Okay, it had nothing to do with what I was doing wrong. It was the normal mechanics in the game that I overlooked. Okay. What's the story with this pasture? You are not getting rid of your fertilizer. So now's a good time to just dump fertilizer into a random building just to get rid of it. Technically you can go in here as fuel. Okay. So we're going to build ourselves up 3 tiles to start with. Change our camera angle. Up, 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 so I want to bring the fertilizer down to this belt. Quite possibly. I also need to actually clear these buildings. Wrong button, that one, that one, that one. Come on. Okay. And that'll be ramp down, ramp down, ramp down. Okay, so 4 belt down here. Into there. And then we want a grabber here that is filtered to just fertilizer. Okay. So that should hopefully clear my fertilizer problem out of there. And then if I rotate you that way, so now you can't actually output in any direction, hopefully that fixes my problems. Because even these guys, even though they output a 1-to-1 ratio, they keep backing up and getting confused, and I couldn't get the materials in, so I actually had to do 1 grabber for chicken and a 2nd grabber for fertilizer. And I had to do the exact same thing here. So we now have fertilizer. If I go 5, and then go 4, and go that way, hopefully we then prioritize this one. Do not take turns, guys. Pusher. If there's fertilizer, no. If there's fertilizer there, I want you to have priority. Okay. A blocker there. A sorter? No, let's try a pusher there, because we do have some sort of logic. Issue command. A blocker. Camera lock. I don't know what issue command does. I also have no idea if we can actually burn off the fertilizer fast enough. That uses 1 every 4 seconds. You make 1 every 2 seconds. Yeah, so even then we still wouldn't probably use it fast enough. Let's just clear half this belt. Actually, even better, can we have a gap? So I can see what happens when we have a gap. Does that let the blocker... Nope. Okay. Compute blocks, inventory sensor, Boolean function, agent trigger. Oh, great! Logic lamp, logic set block. I actually don't even have any of these unlocked. That's what I want. I want an inventory sensor. And it would be, if you do not have fuel, then we undo this blocker. Okay, so we already know just on basics of what we've got, we've actually still have too much fuel. So let's do build logic box pusher. So if a pusher goes that way, and then I actually take the belt and rotate it that way. We can bring this out to here. And I'm even going to take it all the way out to this guy. And we're just going to have 2 spots to dump fertilizer. Because that's all we need to do with it. Just get rid of it. 4. farms are more than happy to pusher to eat fertilizer. Okay, so you're now powered with poop power. My great belt to the kitchen is actually backed up. We got too much cooked chicken. We can't sell it fast enough. Is that true? Yep, that is entirely true. So in that case, let's build some more houses. Okay, we're gonna hit you because I didn't leave myself enough room. I'm gonna leave a 1 tile gap between you guys and 2 tile gap here because at least you consume food. We still got how? No, actually, that's the maximum houses. Can we upgrade you again? We need 100 reinforced planks. Where are they built again? There. For you not work? You don't have iron. Why don't we have iron? Yeah, you make iron. You don't have iron ingots. Why don't you have iron ingots? Why don't you have iron ingots? You do have iron ingots. Why does that grabber... That grabber's missing one of them. Well, that would explain the problem. So you're going to make iron ingots, which are going to go to storage, which is then going to make everybody really, really happy. Good. One more problem solved. New problem. Are all these farms running flat out? It looks like... No, you don't have enough grain, you don't have enough grain, you don't have enough grain. Because these should all have a touch of overproduction on them. You actually have too much grain. Okay, so I need to... It looks like because... You're going through a splitter, you may need a faster belt. Which is exactly what this guy needed. You're happy, you buried under there are not happy. You're going to here, which is almost happy. Ah, part of it's being fed from there. 8, 8, 8, no, you are happy. Okay. You're now running better. You're getting fertilizer. Nothing has set up a red flag apart from these guys saying I've got nothing to farm. Cotton's going great. You have infinite milk. You're producing 1 milk every 2 seconds. And you use 6, which means you're going to be underproducing, which is still not nearly enough cheese to run this guy. Because cheese takes 10 seconds. And we need 3 cheese factories to keep this guy running flat out. This is why I've added all the overflows, because it just seemed like a logical way of trying to get up to that next tier, but at the same time, sort of getting rid of what we can when we can. And like, we've got a heap of cooked chicken, which is red coins. Milk, we could ship over milk directly, not that we can really have any spare. We are raking in the coins, but currently. And I'm happy to see up to 114%. So every one of these is like 110% overclock on them. They're running a lot faster than what they should be, just because of how happy our little people are. Now, you're producing cotton at a very, very quick rate, and I've also got this wagon who's just emptying this barn, and this worker who's just picking off the last of these cotton, just to get rid of them, because I'd hate to just destroy the resources. We might as well shove it in a barn and then feed it in here. But the other thing I found out is cotton's really, really easy to produce. That's number one. And it's a perfect 1-to-1 ratio to make cloth. And then from cloth, do I have a spare workshop? Haha, no, you're doing leather. We don't have enough leather. And you're broken because I'm feeding too much coal in, and the wagons that need coal can't get the coal out. There's lots of little problems that need to be looked at, put it that way. Let's just dump down a workshop. So, we can make bandages with one cloth. Actually, let's start with cloth. Cloth. So we can see the ratio. It's one, no, we don't want wool cloth, we want cotton cloth. Is 2 cotton every 4 seconds. We know one farm can supply that. So that gives us 1 cloth every 4 seconds. We can then take 2 of these and produce a shirt. Which takes the income from 4 gold up to 10 gold. 10 red coins, rather. We could also, with cloth, turn it into a bandage. Slightly different ratio. So we go from 1 every 4 seconds to we now only need 1 every 5 seconds. So we've got a little bit of overproduction of cloth, which we can just ship straight to the market and sell off. There is nothing wrong with that. And we can make 6 coins rather than 10, you know, what's worth it? We do have this guy here who actually has cloth, who's then shipping it into the workshop, and then with whatever leather we get from this farm set up over here, which is far from optimal, it needs Jetty to have another good look at it. We are making leather and shipped it all the way here to make better books, which was important at the time, and we're just taking the excess production and seeing what we can do with it to make more gold. Actually, I'm looking at this right now. I got cloth right here. If you're a grabber who's pushing that way, we could go 5, leave that flat. So we could go ramp, ramp, ramp. Sure, that'll do. Change this belt to run this direction. Really? What am I missing? I'm missing a ramp, am I? Bring this up to here, into there. And then we put down a logic block, a pusher. So because we've got a pusher, this is going to get filled first. Anything excess can come up here, get shipped along the great conveyor belt into our general store and be sold as cloth for 4 coins. Because why not? We've got the excess production here, sitting here doing nothing. In fact, it's like grain mill to pasture to barn to make wool, to then I have no idea what these guys are doing. Maybe they're taking the fertilizer out. In fact, I've actually got a cart doing the. Okay, you just go away. You look to be doing nothing as well. 1, 2, 3. Delete the blocks on it. Come on. Work it out of my way. I want to delete the block. Place the block underneath. No. 2, 3. Worker, you're making my life unbearable. There we go. So you can't output now. No. Delete. delete. I'm trying to fix this worker, and you're literally standing in the way. Delete. I need fertilizer to come in here to get him to bugger off. To then... yeah. 1, 2, 3. Delete, delete. 4. Grabber. Filter. Wool. That's cotton. Wool. Tick. Okay, so again, we've just saved a worker. And you're literally going from there to make a whole bunch of cloth, to make a whole bunch of cloth, to shove the cloth in there, to make a thing which is now being shipped to here. And it looks like it's just too much crap on the belt. Yep. It's got weird spacing, but it's fine. Actually, let's just... Okay. One more thing solved. So, yeah, that's where I'm sort of up to with the series. I will fully admit, and I said it in the last episode, and this time I'm definitely confirming it, we're no longer going to be doing episodes a day. Factory Town's just got to that complicated point where I've literally spent 2 hours trying to, almost 3 hours, trying to work this out. And then we spent another 20 minutes or so trying to make final tweaks to have excess get shoved out and everything else. And I've still got too much cloth. So like I could take the excess cloth and again shove it onto this belt that goes into the general store to get rid of it. So yeah, Factory Town is a very, very complex game. Very, very, very complex. It has been hours of fun. I cannot recommend it more. Erik was a great guy to send me a very, very early alpha key, and then I've played through the alpha, I've played through the beta. I'm now playing it in early access. Look, I'd like to finish the game. I'd like to finish off the tech tree. Wrong button. No, R for research. So we've only got 4 techs to go. I have no idea how to access the other ones. And honestly, the only thing stopping us is... I don't need that many workers thrown in there. Is... I have no idea how to unlock that crap. We can... Elemental extraction and advanced logistics, we can turn on right now. We're not making a lot of purple coins. In fact, I don't even know how we're making them. Actually, I do. We're selling steam pipes turned into mana pipe, which is now out of... Where the hell are the pipes? There. Which is, for some reason, has mana shards in it. For reasons that nobody will ever know. So yeah, we're making a very, very slow income for the purple coins. But we are making some. So I can tick off the next research. We have completed the last research, which unlocked the recharger, then the enchanter, along with the mana transmitter and a mana receiver, which we haven't played with. So you can expect future episodes playing with these things, but I'm going to have to spend a lot of time off camera sort of optimizing things. And like I said, the game is far from simple. It's got a lot more complex as it's gone through its development cycle, which is always great to see. it just means it takes me a lot longer to get my head around things before I can then record a videos for you guys. So, like I said, I'm going to leave this here. This video has been way too long already. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you come back for the next Factory Town episode. If you haven't already clicked the subscribe button, you really, really, really should. And you should really turn on notifications so you'll get notified when the next episode comes out. Because I do promise you there will be more. I just don't know when. And then I'm going to go tell Windows to shut up and stop doing that sort of stuff. So, thank you guys for everything. I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.